WWE is teasing some massive and exciting announcements. We're going to talk about that plus so much more. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ango Show. I want to kick things off with some AEW. Jeff Hardy, what's going on with his contract? What the hell happened here, man? What the hell happened to AEW and the Hardy Boys? Because this, to me, will always be a big question mark, and I understand the legal situation at hand with Jeff Hardy, but even prior to that, I was definitely scratching my head with the way they were utilized. Matt Hardy was talking about this on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast. He says that Jeff Hardy has been cleared. He's just sitting at home waiting on the call. He says, unlike me, he's not someone who really gets out and makes things happen. He just kind of waits to someone to call him. He sits at home just waiting on that phone call, jumping on the trampoline up and down with the dumbbells. But yeah, like, he's got until like mid-June or so. I think that is when his deal is up. So I guess we'll see if he ends up re-signing or not re-signing. He then goes on to say, you know, a little bit of excitement towards his time in TNA right now, how he's been utilized, things like that. He's enjoying his run in TNA. But obviously in regards to Jeff Hardy, he doesn't really know whether or not Jeff will be re-signing or going somewhere else. And, you know, this is a really interesting topic because I felt like the last time the Hardy Boys returned to WWE, when they left TNA, went to WWE, I thought that was their retirement run. And then obviously they went to AEW, and then I thought that was their retirement run. And obviously that hasn't been the way it's panned out just yet. Obviously AEW is not utilizing Jeff Hardy. Doesn't sound like they're releasing Jeff Hardy. And I guess technically if they want to, they can extend Jeff Hardy's time in AEW because of the missed time. Maybe more than likely Tony Khan is not going to keep that going. There's talks of AEW budget cuts. We'll talk a little bit more about that in depth in another video, but that is just something to keep in mind. With that being said, I want to turn our attention to some news surrounding WWE contracts. There is apparently a new minimum yearly salary for WWE main roster talent, and we'll see how this goes. It's coming from Dave Meltzer, so of course I question the validity of this, but it is worth discussing because I love talking about money. I love talking about how the business is hot and things are going well in the business. Dave Meltzer has reported that the current minimum for a WWE main roster talent is $350,000 per year. I think the number before was either 150 or 250 as the minimum. And look, guys, the minimum typically is going to people who are just getting called up from NXT. Maybe somebody inexperienced, maybe somebody with no name value. Obviously, if you are someone like MJF trying to jump over, WWE is not going to offer you $350K to be on the main roster. Jade Cargill, look, I'm not pocket watching, but I just can't expect Jade Cargill to have left AEW to come to WWE for $350K a year, right? My point that I'm making is that this is not applicable to everyone. Everybody's situation is different, but the minimum itself is reportedly $350K a year, which I don't wrestle. I don't know between paying for flights and hotels and all that stuff if $350K a year is good. But I do believe that anytime there's an increase in pay, it's a good thing. Eventually, I would like to see that the minimum gets even higher and higher and higher and higher because I do want people to get paid in pro wrestling. The more that people get paid, the more people are happy. The more that people are happy, the more that the television product, I do see some parallels. When talent are happy, morale is good, the product is good, the business is thriving. Obviously, as somebody who covers pro wrestling, I like the positive stuff. So yeah, I hope it gets to a point where the number increases, right? WWE is a multi-billion-dollar company. They're making a lot of money. I understand business is business. I understand that this doesn't apply for everyone, but also at the same time too, I do like the idea of people getting paid good money in wrestling. I like the idea of wrestling thriving. I'll just kind of keep it at that. So let's keep it at that, shall we? Let's talk about Brock Lesnar. Obviously, a lot of talks about Brock Lesnar lately. This whole lawsuit with WWE, Janelle Grant investigations. There's a lot of stuff based on the allegations. As you guys know, I've said this a million times on this channel, but at this time they are allegations. Brock Lesnar is reportedly not on WWE television. There was rumors that Brock Lesnar could be coming back for a feud with Gunther at WrestleMania. That obviously didn't happen. Then there was rumors that Brock Lesnar could come back after WrestleMania. Obviously, that hasn't happened. According to Dave Meltzer himself, he is reporting that Brock Lesnar has not been cleared by the WWE's legal team. He writes that regarding any rumors of Lesnar returning, he has to be cleared by WWE legal, because we all must remember that WWE is technically listed as a defendant in the Janelle Grant lawsuit, and obviously legal has not cleared Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar's involvement in everything, we'll see how it all transpires in the court and the investigation, right? That's the situation we are currently in. It's easy to just point fingers and say so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that, but none of us were there. So I don't really feel comfortable speaking about my opinions until we do get the conclusion. But obviously, if Brock Lesnar is not cleared by legal, I think it's safe for us to say that there is a chance that Brock Lesnar may never be back on WWE television. With that being said, that brings us to our final topic. Shawn Michaels talking on KTNV Channel 13 Las Vegas. He says that there are some very exciting announcements coming down the pipe when asking about more NXT crossovers. In addition to that, I want to mention that TNA had announced at Against All Odds, Jordynne Grace will be having an open challenge for the TNA Knockouts Championship. So, obviously, Shawn Michaels and WWE have some announcements to make, and throughout the next few weeks, we should expect to see them. On the same token, TNA aired the footage of Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez. They aired the footage on Access TV on Thursday, and Jordynne Grace will have the open challenge. Clearly, the synergies between the two companies makes a lot of sense. I know that Dave Meltzer is publicly speaking about TNA, and this is where I have slightly an issue, because Dave Meltzer is talking about some issues backstage within TNA instead of talking about some of these other things, right? Like the partnership with WWE and whatnot. TNA is a small company. They're going to have issues internally, just like any company will have issues internally. I think ultimately working with WWE helps them. Now, what is this announcement that Shawn Michaels is talking about? I don't know, but I will tell you guys, I've said this across my WWE content and AEW content. I am tired of announcements and teasing announcements and all of these things. I personally think that sometimes these announcements have become pretty simple, pretty basic, right? Obviously, if it's in regards to a crossover with TNA, I think they're going to be pretty damn massive. But if it's anything else, I think it's just going to be underwhelming. So we'll have to see how it goes down. But I put out a tweet the other day and I said it very clearly. TNA versus NXT Worlds Collide pay-per-view. That's what I want to see. If we get it, I want to be there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show. Let me know what you guys think down below.